guys, welcome to Cine-Mahaul, and today it's a special edition podcast. I've got Nona Prince in the house. For the first time, I'm collaborating with him. Thank you so much, brother, for taking out time and coming onto my channel.
My pleasure, man. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you so much. And I know how we both are such big fans of Malayalam cinema, and I was kind of excited and looking forward to this podcast because I knew that people would want to listen to how different or how alike two YouTubers think about Malayalam cinema, because of course everybody has different views, but also at the same time the mutual respect for what the kind of craft and filmmaking they have been doing, especially in the last year or so. So it will be very interesting to have a conversation with you. It's also International Coffee Day today, guys. So if you if you are a coffee person, then get your coffee and let's get ready for a mind stimulating podcast, hopefully. So let me just quickly
That's too much
start with.
pressure, huh?
Okay, you know what? I'm sure most of the people who are watching here know you already. But in case if there is anyone from my channel who still doesn't know you, how would you describe yourself to them?
So, hi guys, I'm Nona Prince, and that's not my real name, it's a screen name.
Yeah.
And I have a YouTube channel called Nona Prince where I explore a lot of cinema and talk about, giving my views about films in a maybe different perspective. That's why people, are attracted to it. And I've been doing it for 5 years and exploring a lot of South Indian cinema, which is Malayalam, Kannada, Tamil, Telugu. Haven't ventured into Tulu yet, and even Konkani. Lot to explore yet. Just scratch the surface, and there's so much more. But whatever I've seen, it's I'm just amazed. Uh, like 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 almost my life, we have been kept away from not someone did it, but the way we live in India. We were away from all these great films,
Yeah.
but it's finally feel good to finally explore it and talk about it more and more, so more people get attracted to it. And maybe find a way, at least if I can get at least two or three people into Malayalam movies and South Indian
Yeah.
movies, that'd be a big victory.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you because I have spent a huge amount of my life in South. I was in Chennai for 6 years. I had so many Tamil friends. I had so many Mallu friends. In fact, I also went to Kerala a couple of times. Being there when I was born and brought up in the north, and then when I went over there, first of all, so many myths were broken. People
Yeah,
used to tell me before I went to South India, oh, why are you going there? The food will not be that great, the weather will not be that great, you will not understand the language. And these things, I think people have got these premeditated notions about South, not just films, but in general. So that also kind of stops them from going there and exploring the culture over there.
yeah,
Once I went, I'm telling you, I literally those 6 years of my life in Chennai, I still value them, and they're so close to my heart. I still miss Chennai. So whenever I miss it, I watch Tamil films or listen to Tamil music, and so yeah, I mean, so when you said how we when I say we, I mean North Indians or people who are not really aware of South Indian stuff. So when you said that we were kept away, so to say, now do you think one of the big reasons for this Malayalam or Tamil or anything, the exposure, the reason behind that is probably first of all the boom of OTT, and
yeah,
then another one is the awareness that the audience has got, probably because we also consume a lot of Western stuff, so we now
yeah,
know and understand the difference between good cinema and bad cinema. So
yeah.
these two reasons I found were two of the most important reasons why North Indians are consuming more of South Indian stuff now, with a lot of openness, also subtitles.
Yeah. I, I think there are multiple factors. I think subtitle is still not the biggest factor. I think a lot to do has to do with what Bahubali did when it
Mhm.
came out. I think it just broke the barriers altogether. That you don't need to know the language. Like, it was dubbed. and it was dubbed so well. The story was so universal that it connected, and people realized that okay, whatever memes we have seen of South Indian cinema, whatever footage we know, whatever UTV action shows, the Hindi dub, the dub versions of movies on YouTube have 200, 300 million views. So they're a big fandom, fan base for those films also
Yeah.
in North India,
Yeah.
particularly. But it's I think the dubbing also, the exposure with Bahubali also, and also the lack of content that Hindi cinema is not giving.
Hmm.
There are some few gems every year, but that's it. And I
Yeah.
think with pandemic, suddenly that also stopped. Like there was literally like Bollywood was like it's like closed
Yeah.
suddenly, and people didn't have anything else. And Malayalam industry took the best way possible because they are so quick with their films. They are so focused, so small budgeted that they can really make films faster. And we have so many Malayalam films releasing. I think
Yeah.
this year most number of films released are from Malayalam, I guess, or I think there'll be
Absolutely.
competition between Tamil and Malayalam. So that says it all, and it's really like I think it's like they, at the right moment they clicked, and
Yeah.
also
I mean, yeah.
with
That.
what
That.
happened,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
with
Go
what
on, please.
happened last year, right? And there's so much negativity about Bollywood.
Hmm.
So I think that also paved way, and so many people are making videos about those movies.
Yeah.
A lot of people in Hindi, explaining videos of like whatever,
Hmm.
and a lot of platforms are dubbing. Like if it's a big release, they even
Hmm.
dubbing that film in different languages for everyone. So I think
So,
all these factors have
do
definitely
you think do you think one of the reasons why uh, videos which we make, like
yeah.
YouTubers like us who are from North, so when our videos do well, so do you think one of the reasons is also is that South Indians are also curious to know what North Indians think of our cinema? Because
And
before this,
definitely.
yeah, I mean, before this OTT boom or even YouTube, I mean, today everybody has YouTube and a smartphone in their hand. So before that, they were probably also having assumptions about North India, just like North Indians have assumptions about South India.
Yeah.
So now they also get to see reality in a way that okay, these guys are understanding and respecting our cinema and culture, and that's why I think if a review or a podcast will be genuine, people will show your love to it.
Yeah. Also they're passionate about cinema. They want to talk about the thing is that if you talk about a film like अरे just a film क्या time waste है चलो हो गया ना देख ली ना movie चलो घर चलो that's the majority of people around you. So
Yeah,
if you're passionate, there's no one around you to talk about it. And I think in South India it's very different. It's a big event if a film comes out.
yeah,
They'll watch it 5 times, 6 times. They're very passionate, and
yeah,
even there are a lot of many of us cinephiles, and they want to watch a lot of content. I think, and also in a way, right, that they want to see what North Indians are thinking, and in that sense, people see, okay, this is getting views, so more and more people are doing it, which also in some way helps because it's
yeah.
creating awareness. Like today, if not more, but today's definitely many people are watching South Indian cinema than
Hmm.
a year back. So, and that's a great news.
That is for sure. I mean, as you said, how in South it's almost like a festival. So I'll tell you something. When MS Dhoni released in 2016, I was in Chennai, and
Yeah,
even though it's a Bollywood film, I had seen it for. In fact, yesterday was its anniversary. Also, it
yeah,
released on 30th September. So I had first seen it in Hindi on first day, and then I thought, the craze of Dhoni here is as much as Rajnikant's. So let me just try and go watch it in Tamil and let's see. So for the first next 2 days, I didn't get the tickets itself. Friday, Saturday, nothing was there. Sunday night, one seat was remaining, so I got that. I went there, and I'm telling you, the ambience, the atmosphere which I felt in Tamil, even though it was dubbed, but it was not at all the same in Hindi. And that day I understood, okay, these guys literally worship their superstars. And then after that, I started watching more Tamil films in local theaters, not multiplexes, but
yeah.
single
Single
screen
screens.
theaters where people literally go berserk. people are literally dancing, and there are so many of those effigies
Yeah.
of all the superstar, and people are pouring milk over them, literally. Matlab, they worship them like God. So I remember every time on a Pongal when Rajnikant will come up with a Peta or a Kala or a Kabali and all these releases, and then Vijay coming with his releases, Ajit, all these guys, and that's when I sort of realized that how people in Bollywood are like Salman Bhai ka jo following hai na, that is Bhai Bhai. They are nothing in comparison to how people have this crazy fanaticism with South. So yeah, so absolutely, I understand that point. Now, coming to our original conversation. So how you said, that Malayalam cinema probably right place at the right time, and not really. Uh, that's the title of my video today. That creativity cannot be locked down. That's what
Yeah.
Malayalam cinema tells us. If you remember last year, they started with a bang with See You Soon, and it was shot in lockdown. Uh, when Bollywood went to non-important things, Riya and Sushant and all these guys are channelizing their energies on creating better and some authentic cinema with limited
Yeah.
resources. So now, let me ask you your first memory of Malayalam cinema. Which was the first film you watched, and which was the film that really fascinated you and made you inclined towards Malayalam cinema?
I think first was an anthology called Solo. It had
Mm.
Dilkar Salman in it, and
Yeah.
it was, I think, my first anthology, if I remember correctly. I think it was 2018, and that time
Yeah.
I hadn't watched any other Malayalam films. But the real, I think, impact really started in 2019 when I watched Kumbalangi Nights, Virus.
Okay.
I was blown. I think Virus was only I was blown away.
Mm.
This is something else altogether. And then Kumbalangi Nights and I think Jallikattu also at the same time. And I was just, because at that time I was also discovering cinema in that sense, like watching international movies or Hollywood classics, even like Hindi movies. Of course, I've grown up
Yeah.
watching, but that time when you start realizing, okay, what is a good film, you start to break it down. And that time, I started watching Malayalam cinemas. I was just blown away. And each one after, I was like, okay, even before that I started Kannada cinema, and I was like, okay,
Okay.
I think 4 5 into it, and then suddenly, uh, I watched it more and more. Okay, not every film was up to that mark. I like the idea, the execution could have been better, maybe the budget, or there's a lot of limitations. But when Malayalam cinema, it was one after the other, one after the other.
Mm.
They were just blowing me away. And even still, I do hit that movie. Okay, it was not that amazing, it was good, but still, one thing I really found that, if I'm watching, I think I don't remember any time it has happened that I'm watching a South Indian movie and I'm like, this is nonsense. Never. Maybe it's not done well, it's execution issues, maybe writing could have been better. A lot of things, these things can be but the idea, it's always refreshing, it's different.
Yeah.
They're trying something, there's ambition behind it. I don't watch the films which trying to follow the formula making and all of that. But every time I find that uniqueness, which inspires me, and that's what I look forward to in every film I watch. There's certain
So,
moment, realize in the movies just the same thing over and over, and I
yeah.
don't really don't see an ambition. you
Yeah.
know
No, but so when you started watching Malayalam cinema for the very first time, you were also a student at Whistling Woods, right? Or
yeah.
maybe you were already a passed out. So when you watched it, did you watch it from a critical point of view for the first time, or you were open to it? That okay, let me give it a go. Let me just be a very layman sort of an audience and try to see what they're trying to tell us, what kind of stories they're trying to tell us, and then probably because it would be too early to judge it through a filmmaker's eyes, right?
I think from in my case, every movie, it's like a new world you are getting into. So it starts from the beginning, how the entrance was to how the film begins, how it takes you in. If it's abruptly showing you something, If you know suddenly when you enter only, you're suddenly okay, I'm in a different world.
Yeah.
But if a movie is really good, these things doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think a Kumbalangi Nights, within 5 minutes, I didn't know where I am.
Mm.
I it didn't feel like I'm reading subtitles. I'm living this movie. So if a movie is really that good, it all this doesn't matter. I think
Mm.
I say this often. If I'm watching a movie, I'm thinking, oh, that editing was off, or
Mm.
what happened to the camera angle here. That means the film couldn't connect with me.
Okay.
That's why I'm out of the film and noticing these
Okay.
things.
So
I think that's how I
does
see
this
it.
happen because of your background with films? The college that you went to, or is it like something you have developed over the years because of watching some great cinema, Hollywood or anywhere?
I think it is the curse of the education. I think once
Okay.
you get to know, I think I'm sure same thing happens with the music, right? Once how things are done. Like
Yeah.
this is a example, right? Like when you two people are talking, the camera is on this character, then cut cameras on this character.
Mm.
If I am, if I get to know, oh, now they just shifted the camera, now this actor is speaking, now they shifted the camera, that means I'm out of the film.
Mm.
If I can if I can experience that cut, oh, they cut it, now they have changed the set, they have changed the camera, lighting is changed, mood is changed. That means there was a connection, issue with the connection with the film. And it's a curse, sometimes it really ruins your experience. And I get a lot of comments saying, man, you have to feel, feel the emotions, don't be so just about the logic. And films are about experiences. I understand that, but it's the curse. You
Yeah, I
cannot do
mean,
anything about it.
but one thing we both can agree on is any film which is shot in Kerala. I mean,
Yeah,
half the job is done for them
definitely.
because it's so beautiful. Like I remember watching and doing the podcast on home, and such locations, even Kuruti and Nayatta, when they go to
Yeah,
Munnar and all those places. I've been to Munnar, so that's probably the greenest place I've ever seen in India or in my life. So, first of all, the locations are such. It's called God's own country for a reason.
yeah,
I mean, so when they've got such look, it's like saying how people say if the film is shot in Europe, it will anyway end up looking
yeah,
better than other films. So it's probably the same case with Kerala, and then of course their own craft and how they execute it. That's a whole together different story. Now coming back to let me take a couple of comments here. So Sharsh says, Keshav, you got a real Malayalam film analyst with you today. I have found Nona as someone from North Heritage into Malayalam with same passion as me and following him ever since. Uh,
thank you.
and then Shamim says, hi Nona, happy to see you here. Uh, okay, another comments were because we got late, so people were kind of uh, being iffy about it. So anyway, now coming back to the conversation. So this year, especially in the last year or so, since the lockdown happened, my question now to you is, why do you think Malayalam cinema, one after the other, has churned out so amazing films without failing, without repeating any sort of a formula, and also being fearless to experimentation? Because if you see in Bollywood in the last 1 year, you have to think very hard to actually come to a conclusion. Okay, these were some great films. But when you talk
Yeah,
about Malayalam cinema, you have uncountable number of films. You can literally go on and on. So
yeah.
what do you think makes them, or what do you think is the reason behind the fact that they have literally owned this last year?
See, I think one thing I've noticed that, right, that I made a video also about it, that it's all about the audience.
Mhm.
Even Bollywood in this cinema, people make great films, but they don't really work.
Okay.
They are out of the theaters.
Mm.
Even now because of OTT, a lot of films are getting, even a Newton.
Mm.
It didn't get that good response in box office because it got nominated for Oscars from India. There was a buzz, but that's it died down. Sherni got an amazing response because of the OTT release. So in even in Hindi, right, the audience needs to come ahead. And I think
Mm.
it's all about, I've talked about, right, the literacy rate in Kerala is so high. They are very very conscious of what they're watching. They'll not watch any bullshit. There is, a big, what I've learned from people there, that a lot of big fandom for Tamil, heroes, like Vijay, or even Allu Arjun's movies do a great business there. But with their stars, with their stories, they are very, what could maybe, the right word would be, they're artistically inclined, so they understand what is good writing, what is not good writing, and they read a lot of films made are based on novels. So there's a lot of like education comes big handy, and the audience they'll outright reject if a movie is not good. I think Solo was a film which was, the anthology was not given. It was okay. It was okay, and it was new and refreshing, but people didn't like it, and they
Yeah.
rejected it. And they don't matter what star it is and who's starring, and for them the writer and the director is a bigger name, bigger attraction to them than the hero. And
But
definitely they have commercial films, but that's still strong. The audience reaction, right, it's still strong. So just take an Anurag
it's
Kashyap, right?
yeah.
Like Anurag Kashyap, to make a film, he is like, he decides a budget and then he reworks and writes its story.
Hmm.
In Malayalam, you don't have to do that. Okay, I'm making a good story. Their people, their producers are passionate. It's more about the creative side. The people, creative heads are in power there.
Yeah.
The
That's
actors are
that's
involved with the stories, the
yeah.
script writing. It's very, you cannot make a film without script. Like
And
Kala was
and
something, they did that, but it was a different film. That's why, so in Bollywood, you cannot have that. I think
and
that's a big difference.
I can definitely say that for music as well. Whatever you said, just replace the word music, films with music, and that applies in Bollywood because here, the label mafia, especially the kind of stuff T series is coming out with. I mean,
Yeah,
it's. I feel it's also two-way traffic. Just like how you said that it's because of the audience, but it's also what you are catering to the audience, right? I mean, if you keep catering crap, they will get used to it. Then they will. I mean, if if somebody is a diabetic patient, okay, and he doesn't know that sugar free also exists, so he will keep consuming sugar, right? So you
yeah.
have to give them options. So I felt that audience is also more mature and grown up there, of course, because of the literacy rate, but also because what's being catered to them. Here, you are remaking old stuff. You are just, you found a formula, so to say, which has worked for a period of time, and then you're afraid of experimentation. And that's both in
Yeah.
films and music. So that's why I think we are lacking behind Malayalam cinema or any other industry which is not afraid of experimenting.
I think OTT success is a big, boom to Hindi audience, because we know people today which no one would have known before. Like, all the shows, web series coming on Amazon, Netflix. So many actors are getting recognized. The merit is speaking.
Yeah.
Today, you cannot have an actor like a Salman Khan do a show on a web series and it will work. No, it will. If it's not good, it will not work.
Yeah.
And I think that's the future now, and that's a good thing
Hmm.
for Hindi cinema. I think that will push the people who really want to make creative stuff and want to challenge themselves, because there is a market now,
Hmm.
and people are willing to. And again, as you said, right, the mafia label, and even in Bollywood, right, there is that structure which got a lot of blows in the pandemic,
Hmm.
as well as with other controversies. So there's definitely reshuffling happening, and now with South Indian cinema pushing so ahead, I
Hmm.
think recently they, like, it was always Bollywood does like 60% of the business in Indian cinema,
Hmm.
and suddenly it's become 60-40 now. So let's see. And even so many pan India films are coming.
Yeah.
We have a Pushpa, we have a Vikram, we have a Triple R coming, and
KGF.
people KGF North Indian are more excited to watch those films.
Yeah.
And that, I think that's a great news. And people and that's also, recently we are getting so many news about new concepts which are being happening in Hindi also. And that the competition is good, I think, coming from our own country instead of Hollywood.
But
I think
I still
20.
see, I still see, even after all this, I still read news like Vikram Veda will be remade,
Yeah,
Master will be remade, and even Kaidi will be remade. So I mean, if you have to learn something from them, learn originality. Come up with original concepts. Don't remake their films. I mean, sometimes I feel that even when Bollywood makes a good remake, the authenticity somewhere is not there, which you
Yeah,
find in South Indian original version. And that's, again, being a musician, I'll always give you music references. Like when Master came, so Master
yeah,
songs were so good in Tamil. I'm sure you would have heard it.
yeah.
So when they were dubbed in Hindi, I couldn't really process it the same way, or I couldn't enjoy the same way as I did in Tamil. So whenever they dub it, be it songs or whenever they remake the films, like Okay Janu was another example. Like Okay
Yeah.
Kalmani was such good film. Even Vinay Tandi Varuvaya was such good film, which was a huge hit down south. And here Ek Deewana Tha nobody cared about.
See, I think on see remakes is something I have a little different opinion on, and I get like in an artistic sense, it doesn't make any sense. You don't like it. I think no one likes it, but I think in a practical sense, sometimes some movies cannot, for me, at the end of the day, it's like okay, a story which wouldn't have traveled would travel because of the remake. Like a Vikram Veda, maybe will not able to reach everyone in India, but a remake, Hindi remake would. And at some point, it's about the story reaching more places than being that having that idealistic approach. Oh, it's a remake, you cannot have it. And the other thing is, and then we come to the practicality of money. Uh,
Mm.
you know, the amount of money the producers of the original films get from remakes, it's way higher. They get a lot of profit from that, and from that from for them it's a model, business model, that
Mm.
if they get a good movie, they know we'll get a buyer in Bollywood to
Yeah.
get the rights from us. And a lot of people say, why don't they only dub it in Hindi or other languages? See, that's a different ball game altogether. I think Kannada movie ASN, Avani Srimanarayana starring Rakshit Shetty, they were supposed to release in 5 languages. The Hindi one didn't happen because of some politics happened,
Mm.
so he couldn't release it in Hindi. I think a week before only it came out on finally on YouTube in Hindi dub. So if someone tries to do that independently, they face issues. So they need to
And
get in touch with Bollywood or someone to do that. So there's a lot of practical issues with the thing, but remake I am little sometimes if it for me it's like for me the major factor is the story reaches a wider audience.
But I think
That's
one thing that they should then look for is, if they want that sort of originality and authenticity to be retained in the remake, is at least let the original director only direct the Hindi version as well. That can
and
work out.
yeah, that's happening. That's also depends on the director, right? Like some don't like I think for Kabir Singh and Arjun Reddy, that was the same director. The Jersey remake happening is director of the same director. So I think they are doing that because I think some remakes failed. So if the director is up for it and directing it again, they are doing that. And I think in South it happens a lot. Malayalam, Tamil. I think Drishyam, Tamil and Telugu. I think Telugu was directed by the Ajitu Joseph itself,
Hmm.
and he's also directing Drishyam 2 for Telugu.
I think
So
he's
they
also
do
going to
that a
direct
lot.
the Hindi one, right? Hindi one also
Hindi, no, no, I don't think so. Hindi is
the
someone
second
else.
part which is going to get remade, not the
Yeah,
first one.
it's
Okay.
not him. See,
Okay.
in Hindi, right? What happens? You need someone who. Now, this is a tricky one because I saw Drishyam. I compared Drishyam original and Hindi, and there was so much, a point of having so much. It's about the place in Drishyam, right? Original.
Yeah.
Whereas you just take it because it's a coastal area, you just put it in Goa.
Hmm.
There's no relevance of that movie happening in Goa. So that's
Yeah.
one thing. Whereas a Bhool Bhulaiya, which is a remake of a Mohanlal film Mani Chitra Dadu, which I recently again did a comparison video. That where Bhool Bhulaiya did a very good adaptation, adapting it in Banaras in a palace.
Hmm.
How they adapted it really well. So sometime it works, sometime it doesn't work.
Hmm.
Whereas the in Bhool Bhulaiya they did credit the original writer. So it was nice to see that. But I think a lot don't.
What's your answer to this question?
Are you excited for driving license remake in Bollywood starring? Actually, yes, because I felt the original had some issues, and I think this is again a movie. It is very in core to Malayalam cinema because there's so many dialogues in the movie, jokes in the movie. Like it's being meta with the how Malayalam cinema works. So I think this traveling in Bollywood will work very well because of those situations and everything. Have you seen the movie?
I have, and my next video is going to be a comparison or between driving license and Ayappanam Koshiyam,
Yeah,
because both of the films have same actor, same director, and a lot
yeah.
of similarities. So I thought I'll
I
do
think
a
the
video on that.
director is different.
Okay,
He
somebody.
wrote he wrote driving license, but someone else directed it.
Okay, I'm sorry, but there was some
Yeah,
similarity.
yeah,
I forgot. So let me take another comment. Malayalis follow Tamil, Hindi, English movies like their own, and also watch other languages like Telugu, Kannada, and even Korean with subtitles. So the audience have a high movie sense. That is again one of the good reasons why they
yeah.
understand movies in a much better way. This one says Malayalis select movies to watch based on reviews, rating, and concepts. Okay. Drishyam Telugu, Supriya Drishyam Hindi, Nishikant Kamath. Yeah, Nishikant Kamath, I knew he unfortunately passed away as well recently. Okay, he says, Jatin says, do you know any remake success in Malayalam cinema? Would you answer that?
I think Brahman is coming up, right? Andhadhun remake.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I don't know any.
And
There
we
have been
recently,
remakes before, but
uh, in Telugu also the Andhadhun remake came, no? And I didn't really feel
yeah.
connected with it as much I did with Andhadhun.
Again, right? We will relate to it more, right? Like
Yeah, and
even in Bulbuli, I felt more related because it felt
okay,
more closer to my understandings.
yeah.
Yeah. What do you think
What do
about
you think about Ayappanam Kosham
this
remake?
one is this one is a movie where I don't know how. I think the Telugu one is coming out and it looks nothing like It feels like a hero villain movie, totally mass action. See, the thing is, the plot, the way things get, the things happen, series of events happen. It is so important to have it in that location because how the law works, how the people who work there. You
Yeah,
cannot have IPM question in UP.
absolutely not.
They will just to get rid of the fire, they'll burn the whole station and they'll say it was an
Yeah.
accident. That's the corruption level there. So you cannot really change the the setting of that movie. So I don't know how they'll do it.
Yeah, this is a really good comment. In my opinion, remakes should always upgrade the original and solve problems in the original. I agree with that.
Mm, that that's again kind of it's nice to say that it should do it, but uh, I think the challenge is that no one remakes a movie which is not good, right?
Mm.
They're like, oh, that didn't work out, so let me remake it. They only remake it because it was a big success. I think
No, I
Prithviraj just
mean,
said
but
that in an
even
interview.
successful films can have flaws in it, right? So,
Yeah,
I'm, the point is not
but
ki let me pick this film and make a better version of it, but let me tell this story, but execute it probably in a better way. Maybe that's one way of looking at
s- the thing is, the remake happens because it's a sure shot success.
it.
It for a producer, it's like, okay, this film, the story has worked. I can trust it. I can put my money into it.
Yeah.
Director, make this movie same. I don't
Mm.
want. Okay, you want to change? Add an item song.
Mm.
That's the the process. So the process is never okay. A director coming up, oh, I am to remake a movie. I think in Malayalam, the directors wanted to make Andhadhun into Malayalam film.
Okay.
So there was a passionate, not because it worked in Hindi, let's
Yeah.
make it, we want to earn money. See, that's
Yeah.
the approach, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which doesn't
Absolutely.
happen the other way around.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's another good point. We are already half an hour into the podcast. So, guys, if you are coming from Nona Prince's channel, then please subscribe to my channel as well and like the video. It helps us reach more and more people. And if you are watching from my channel, if you have come from my channel, then go to Nona's channel and subscribe to him. Okay. Now this year a lot of Malayalam films have come, and I'll be honest to admit that I've started watching Malayalam film this year itself. Okay, I am not as pro or experienced as you, but one of the good things that happened with me was the first film that I watched in Malayalam was The Great Indian Kitchen,
Oh,
and
ho,
it was
ho,
an
ho.
easy transition into Malayalam cinema because it didn't have a lot of dialogues,
Yeah,
and I mean, it was so easy to understand as well, with what was happening, and the message they were trying to give, and it was so powerful. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better start for my introduction to Malayalam cinema, because, for example, if I had seen a slightly less impactful Malayalam film, then probably I wouldn't have had this craving for more, or I wouldn't
yeah,
have probably started doing these podcasts on a regular basis, because I
yeah,
started with Great Indian Kitchen, then followed it with Joji. So these are two of probably the best films, not just Malayalam but Indian films of the year. So
yeah,
when I started with these, I was just like you were blown away when you watched Virus, and when you watched Solo. I was like, oh my god! I mean, I lived in Chennai for 6 years. I was in South India, and I had no idea about the phenomenon of Malayalam films, the phenomenon of this man named Fahad Fasil. And
yeah,
I overnight became his fan. I am telling you, in the next few days, I watched all of his older films, Trance and See You Soon and Tondi Madlu. I
yeah.
always struggle with
Tondi
that.
Matlam Saksham.
Yeah.
When
And
I watched that film, I thought I can never pronounce his name, but I felt in love with that film that I
yeah.
by hearted that name.
Yeah. So that one, and then even Mahishinte Pratikaram and
Yeah,
Anyan Prakashan. So these films, and you know, this was in April or May. So we are almost 6 months down the line, and right now, 6 months before, I didn't know an actor called Fahad Fasil existed, and now, for me, in my eyes, he is the best actor in India. That's been the
yeah.
transformation that I have had since I've seen his work. And so now let me ask you, out of all the films that have come this year, just tell me your top three first of all. Which one did you love the
Top three
most?
will be first is The Great Indian Kitchen. I think it's the film of the year,
Okay.
easily for me. Already, it doesn't matter what comes next. I don't care, but that's for me film of the year. Other than that, Nayat is definitely on high. Joji, uh, I
I know
just
it's very difficult. I mean, today I was trying to narrow it down to top five or top 10. So I
yeah,
had a list in front of me, and I was like, how difficult will it be for, you know, just imagine if North Indians are struggling to get their top three sorted. What would be people in Kerala doing? I mean, for them, okay, let me ask right now in the comments. 88 people are watching us. So, guys, if you had to put a vote, just give me your top three of this year, and let's see the common denominator. We'll just try to decode which are the top three, the best film people love this year. For me, I think Nayat was very powerful, and then Kurudi as well. And these films, especially Kurudi, I believe it takes guts to make a film like that, man. I mean, I'm not sure if anyone in Bollywood right now will be able to make a film like that. A film which comes close to that was Mulk, but Mulk got a little
yeah,
preachy as well.
yeah.
Kurudi was not as preachy, I felt. So, what were your thoughts about Kurudi, if I quickly ask you?
Kuruti, yeah, it was definitely a bold movie. It went to places you could never expect. Literally there were some dialogues I felt I'm reading a Twitter thread. People fighting, but definitely becomes a little preachy by the end. It becomes I think it did drag, like kind of it drags starts to drag by the end to reach that point. They could have cut it down, but definitely it's one of the boldest movie I would say of this year. It's very, and it's the right thing is that the balance the film shows, it's becomes very difficult to have that balance
Okay, people have
because
started to put their comments as well. Sorry to cut you off, but because so
yeah, no
many
problem.
comments have started overflowing now, So let's just quickly have a look
We have
at what people.
almost 100 people watching, guys. Hit the like
Oh
button.
yeah,
At least
I
make it
this is
100.
this is my first live, by the way, on Cinema
Oh,
Hall podcast. So thrilled about this response. Thank you, guys. Okay, let me quickly go through the comments. So
yeah,
Anas
sure.
says at home and Georgie, and then there is TGIK Biryani is there.
Yeah,
Nayat, Joji Nayat Kane Kane. You recently did Kane Kane as well.
yeah.
What were your thoughts? You maybe a little underwhelming.
No, not at all. I felt the what they wanted to portray, they did a great job. And recently, I think a day back, I saw a Separation, the Iranian film.
Okay.
It's outstanding, and I think I could see a lot of similarities in the way drama is written.
Hmm.
But it keeps you hooked. It's again, like Arakariam doesn't go into that thriller aspect at all. The treatment is like a chill movie, whereas this movie goes into, I think, little too much with the background music.
Yeah.
But I like the way the story concludes. I think, if I don't, did I had some issue? I cannot recall. I think the background
Because
music was one issue.
when I
It
did
is
when I
little
did
cold,
na
Yeah,
on my channel when I did the podcast, so in comments I had variable reviews about it. So some people said this is not as great as other Malayalam films, and this is like uh, and people actually blame me. They say that okay, you don't have to praise every Malayalam film just for the views. And I was like, I seriously, I enjoyed that process. Although there were flaws, I'm not saying it's a flawless or it's an extraordinary film. It's a nice film. Like as you said, background score was an issue for me. Another issue which I felt was how they were jumping from past to present. So there was no there was no difference in maybe a color tone, or maybe uh, it's difficult to sort of realize okay, they have gone into flashback. That was one minor thing that I noticed, because you were not able to, you wanted a couple of seconds to realize okay, they have gone to the flashback, because they see 2 years is not a difference that will be visible on their
visually,
looks
yeah,
or anything,
yeah.
because they would look the same. So usually flashbacks have some sort of difference in color tone, or maybe background score, or something is there, but this one made me confused a bit. So that was one. And then okay, have you seen Breaking Bad? I'm sure you have seen it.
No,
Arey yaar.
it's one of the series. It's yet to
Okay, so people who have seen Breaking Bad, so it's a little bit of spoiler, but just tell me in comments if Kane Kane was a little bit similar to the situation where Walt lets Jesse's girlfriend die in front of him. He doesn't do anything about it. It quickly reminded me of that. Okay, so somebody says love was good, but it was experiment. Your comments on that?
uh yeah, it was interesting, but it it doesn't it there's one thing of keeping it open ending.
Hmm.
I don't think it was open ending, but then there's one thing to leave you confused. I think that the latter was true for that film.
ओके मनीष ने तो पूरी लिस्ट भेजी है. ग्रेट इंडियन किचन, होम, नायट, मलिक, जोजी, कुरुदी, कान काने, but it's hard to pick a lot of great cinema. Yes. So इसमें से I'll just pick Malik quickly because we have not talked about that so far. Okay, Malik, I think it was an ambitious project for Mahesh Narayan. He wanted to make it before they made See You Soon or even Take Off, but he
Yeah.
didn't have budget at that time. So now when they finally made it,
No,
uh,
no, I don't think so. That happened. I think they shot the film. It was supposed to come
okay,
out in 2020, but it
okay.
got postponed. Yeah.
But I read somewhere or maybe in an interview that he wanted that film to be the first collaboration with Fahad Fasil, but they ended up making Takeoff before because of no budgets and all. Because of course this
I think
film
that was
required more budget.
pre-pandemic. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
pre-pandemic.
So thoughts on Malik? For me,
I
it
think
was
an interesting thing is that the director of Takeoff, Mahesh Anand, was an assistant to him, but he passed away. So he
oh,
took the directing job and directed that film.
hmm.
So I think that's why it was like his first. It became his first with Fahad.
Yeah, and I, you know how it's difficult for us to pick the best film or top films. It's also so difficult to pick the best Fahad Fasil's performance. I mean, I
Yeah,
always get confused. Okay, whether I should pick Trance or whether I should pick Kumbalangi, where he was not even in the lead, or
yeah.
whether I should pick Joji. But it's so difficult. But let me put you in the spot here, and just like how
Don't.
quickly, no, see, because it was so easy for you to pick the best film, you said Great Indian Kitchen without thinking anything. So when I say Fahad Fasil's best performance, first thing that comes top
I
of
think
your mind.
it has to be trance.
Okay.
Trance was like, it's, I think the performance is that, right, that it's very easy to uh, go wrong. It becomes
Mhm.
okay, you're trying to be, being edgy or being weird, but it's very hard to, make it, keep it grounded, which he did really well in that film. My first film of his was actually Super Deluxe, which I was like,
Okay.
okay, he's okay, he's kind of an irritating character, but all right. But then when you see other films, and you're like blown away.
Oh yeah, Super Deluxe I saw, and because all the eyeballs were on Vijay Sethupathi because of the
Yeah,
kind of role and the character he played. Maybe Fahad went a little under the carpet and not into the spotlight, but I felt even in isolation he did that so well. And
yeah,
even for somebody who doesn't speak Tamil as his first language, because I've heard him tell this in interviews why he doesn't do many Tamil films, because he said it's not about speaking the language, I have to think in that language. And that's one
yeah,
of the reasons why he doesn't why he hasn't done any Hindi film also yet.
yeah,
So that is such a good approach, because anyone would easily cast him in a Hindi film, and any other person would even do it for for the money, or
yeah,
for a pan India sort of approach and fame. Like how Dhanush did Ranjana back in
yeah,
2013. He didn't know Hindi, I'm sure, but he still did it. But for a thinking actor like Fahad, he forget Hindi. He is hesitant to do Tamil films as well. But now I'm so excited to watch him in Vikram
yeah.
with Vijay Sethupathi
Kamal
and
Hassan, yeah.
Kamal Hassan and director of Master Lokesh. So uh, I think we are almost at the end of the podcast. 109 people in the house, guys. Thank you so much for such response. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And quickly, I'll just take a few more comments now. Okay, people are also saying Operation Java, Joji and Kuruti. So Operation Java, what about that? Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, it was very stylish. Really liked it. Liked, that the way they solved the crime, and I'm into cyber crime and all of that.
Okay.
So it was quite interesting. But I'm not quite the best of the year, but a
Hmm.
good watch. I had some issues with it, but yeah, it was a good film. Like, I think it could have been a series. I think, and they're planning for sequel to be a series.
Okay. And this is an interesting comment. Fafa rejected Vishal Bhardwaj film because he's not comfortable with Hindi. Now just think how many actors in India will have this sort of a thought process to reject a film from Vishal Bhardwaj. Everyone wants to work with Vishal Bhardwaj. Doesn't matter which industry they come from, which region they come from. Everybody wants to work with him, and still, Fahad actually prioritized his artistic side, because he's not comfortable
Yeah.
in Hindi, he doesn't understand Hindi, he doesn't think in Hindi. So maybe the character will not look as authentic on screen, even if there is a great director like Vishal is involved. Okay, somebody is asking expectations
I'm
about.
sure that I don't know how, like, what's the source of that comment, but there's like, if he asks, Fahad is like, I've already signed film, sorry. I don't think he thought that much.
No, no,
I
but
think if he had time, right, because I think he's already signed for like 10, 12 films. So I think if he had time, he would of course learn. I think he would not reject Bhardwaj, Vishal Bhardwaj like that. But yeah, but definitely, he prioritizes his work above any name or something.
couple of people have asked us about Minnal Murali.
Yeah, It
I
is
don't really have any idea about it. Can you
yeah,
answer
it's
that?
supposed to be the first Malayalam superhero film. It's
Okay.
pan India, and it's
Okay.
now coming on Netflix on 24th of December.
Okay. Well, looking forward to it. He even rejected Mani Ratnam 2 times. Now we have started to make a new list. Directors rejected by Fahad Faasil. So maybe people will come up with now somebody else as well. Okay. What's your opinion about Lijo?
Oh,
This one?
Lijo Jos Pillissery, director of Jallikattu,
Okay.
Imayu, Angamali Diaries. One of my favorite, I think, easily. He's someone I aspire to be.
Okay.
The way he makes his films. He
Mhm.
challenges your thinking, the way you watch movies. His movies are really stand out, and he keeps challenging you at every moment in his film,
Mhm.
which I really like. And he's an outstanding director to look forward to.
And how could we forget Pushpa? I mean, that is another
Yeah,
big ticket film for Fafa into Telugu
yeah.
industry now. And
I think
because,
that also is a pan India. So
it is, and his
yeah,
character name is also North Indian. I forgot what was it.
Shekhawat something.
Bhamar Singh Shekhawat, I think. So,
Yeah,
and he's
something like that.
bald in it, right? So
Yeah.
that look was so intimidating in itself. Okay, let me just quickly take Keshav, try watch Maya Nadi. Okay,
Oh ho ho
sure.
ho. I
Sir,
don't think it's
please
available anywhere,
give a
but
couple of comments on that also then.
I don't know what to say, man. I remember, I think someone said my review for that film was like a ASMR. I
Okay.
was just, I was, it's like a poem, and you were just lost into it. That's what I'm to say. That's it. You can explore it.
Okay, one movie which we have not really touched upon so far from this year is hashtag Home. I felt it was
Yeah.
a beautiful, beautifully executed film, and the message they wanted to give. I think it was very relatable, if not to that extent, but I'm sure everyone has gone through that at some
Yeah.
point in life. I myself remember teaching my parents a bit about Facebook, and now I see them more active on Facebook than myself.
Yeah.
Although I had a little bit of an issue with the fact that they had to tell such an extraordinary tale from past to make the children understand the value of their father. I think
Yeah.
in real world these things might not happen. It's little too fantasy kind of a thing, because
It's also this, right? That,
something extraordinary like that should not be required for them to understand the
yeah.
value of the father,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. But I think in the scope of that film, the way it's told, it works fine.
Mhm.
Also, I don't think that was actually the moment. The kids really, oh my god, he's great. So I think it's okay. It's like a criticism to, okay, we can work on it in the future, but it doesn't really change the film like that.
No, I mean, of course it doesn't, but uh, it's. I mean,
It's a valid criticism. Yeah.
it is, but it's not something that will outweigh the concept or the message of the film as well.
Yeah.
And okay, what are your directions? What's your opinion about director turned actors? That's an interesting question.
I think Dilesh Potan is someone, director of
Dilish
Joji.
Potan, yeah,
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 he
yeah, yeah.
works a lot of as a director. Yeah,
Hmm.
I think nothing, no opinion. Like if you can act and direct, that's great for you.
Farhan Akhtar. So Joji, since you said Joji, for me, like how you pick trans, for me, Joji is Fahad's best performance so far. Uh, I mean, look at the weight transformation. Something that I always think of Christian Bale. You know how he has
Yeah,
transformed himself from one film to another. So you think about Fahad. You can look at Malik, or somebody said it's actually pronounced
Malik.
Malik.
Yeah,
So in
yeah,
Malik, how he transformed himself for three different eras and generations. But in Joji, I mean, he looked like our age, man. He looked mid 20s, and in Malik
yeah,
he can also look in 50s. So that kind of transformation, and then to be able to you know make the audience believe that this is his actual age, and
Yeah.
that character then stays with you. And it was also I think a partial adaptation of Shakespeare's
Yeah.
Macbeth, or
It's inspired more than
yeah,
adapted.
yeah. So Joji, for you, probably in your top three.
Definitely, it's in top three. And I think one thing with Fahad is that, every time I've seen him on screen,
Hmm.
it has never been I'm watching Fahad Fasil or I'm watching he's very similar to in other films. Every film is different. And I
Yeah.
think for a testing thing is that just take one screenshot from each of his films, and you will be able to tell, okay, this is this film, this is this film. That's how
Yeah, yeah.
distinct his just the appearance and body language is.
Okay, this one is a little bit of criticism for us now. You guys are obsessed with Fafa. I know why. But don't shrink Malayalam industry just to Fafa. No, yeah, we don't have any such. I mean, the inclination towards Fafa is just, I think, because of the fact that when we started, personally me, when I started watching Malayalam films, a lot of his films kept coming one by one, and then I also went to watch his previous films. So sometimes you get fascinated by somebody, and I don't know, you connect with them, and there's always one favorite actor, right? So there's always going to be some sort of bias towards them, but we are not at all undervaluing or undermining other people's work. I mean, look at Dulquer Salman, or a lot of other people, Suraj Venjaramudu. I mean, what he did in Kane Kane, or
Suraj,
even
I get a lot of
Suraj.
comments.
Yes,
Suraj.
I'm sorry, I also got that. Suraj, what he did in even Great Indian Kitchen, I think, and
Yeah.
somebody also told me Android, some film,
Android
I
Kunja,
forgot.
yeah.
Yeah,
Android
so
Kunja, something, some four
in that
five
he
point
played
four
an
something.
80-year-old guy. So
Yeah,
that's again
he's
there.
undercounted. I think actually I watch Malayalam movies with my viewers. So 30 minutes into it, I'm like, "Is that Suraj?" And they're like, "Yes." You didn't recognize? I'm like, "No, what?"
Yeah. Okay, this is a question for you.
Arey, yaar, this is someone from my Discord server.
Okay.
Let's skip it.
Okay. Did you watch trailer Andhadhun remake in Malayalam? I did. I'm sure you also did. Uh,
Nah, I've stopped
okay, you
watching
didn't.
trailers.
Oh, okay. That's actually good, because forget trailers and reviews. I have stopped watching reviews, but trailers I still sometimes watch, especially when it comes to remakes, because it gives you an idea of are they trying to copy the original, or they have tried something on their own as well. Uh,
Like I make reviews, but I don't watch reviews. I make my reviews for people who have already seen the movie, to discuss the
Yeah,
ins and
same
outs.
for me. I mean, I don't actually call my videos reviews. I call them discussions or podcasts,
Yeah,
because it's like I'm not making a review to make you watch that film. And I anyway don't do a video immediately after the film has come, or the next day. I take a couple of days.
yeah.
I wait for people to watch it, and I believe after that the discussion becomes a little bit more inclusive, and people also interact more with it, with you. uh, okay, talk about old and new wave in Malayalam cinema. I think I'm not really qualified for that, because I've not seen a lot of old films. People keep telling me this is not the golden era. In 80s, what Mammootty and Mohanlal did, that is actually even better or at par. So I'm not sure if we qualify for this, or if you do, please go ahead and talk about it.
I've seen a number, but still not enough, to really comment. See, the thing is, there's a lot of debate also in my comment section about this. Some people are like, I think every a good movie comes out, there'll be 10 comments saying this is nothing. We already had great cinema, and then there are people like, just move on. It was for that time great, but let's move on. Celebrate what we are getting now. So there's already with the viewers itself there is a tussle, but it's just good to see where the history, learning the history from where you know uh, what today's generation of artists actors are inspired from. So it's, you can tell, okay, see, this is the
Mhm.
reason, and it has been for such a long time. And a lot of people say, if OTT was there in 80s, Malayalam cinema would have, rose at that time itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen some great films, but yeah, still exploring.
And he has asked if we have watched Sunny. So, guys, tomorrow, I think Nona is doing a video on Sunny, discussing on Sunny and Kane Kane, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So please go to his channel and put the bell
Will
icon
be
on so
live.
that you get the. Huh.
And yeah,
So
see you guys tomorrow too.
yeah. And I think it's probably the end of the discussion. I think we have covered most of the films from this year and what we loved this year. It's been an hour already. 117 people are watching us. Thank you, guys. I mean, I am so grateful and thrilled to have you here, brother. I mean, I never in my wildest thoughts or dreams expected that these many people will be watching live, watching me talk about Malayalam films, especially somebody who has just started watching Malayalam films. I'm relatively very new to it compared to you. So I think it's the credit goes to you. You are here. So
No, man.
people are,
It's
uh,
just a start, and just keep
yeah.
continuing your great work.
Hopefully. Okay, your top three Malayalam films till now. Okay, he's not just asking
Till
this
now,
year, but everything that you have seen.
I think my number one is Imayu,
Okay.
which means rest in peace, by the Jallikattu director. One
Mhm.
of my all-time favorite. Then Thondi maybe, and Great Indian Kitchen. If top three, let's not just go, because if I start thinking, that it'll never end. So
Okay. Uh, okay, for me, since I've not seen a lot of older ones, I've seen, and even if I've seen, I've mostly seen Fahad's. So again, the biasness comes here. But in my top three, I'll put Joji, I'll put The Great Indian Kitchen, and Kumulangi Nights, maybe. So that is okay. Nona, which movie are you watching next? Are you watching anything tonight? Maybe.
tonight, I heard a new movie came on Disney Plus Hotstar called Lift. Let's
Okay.
see. Or
Is it Malayalam?
also we no, I think it's Tamil.
Okay.
But also we're starting this October Fest thing. We are watching horror films.
Mhm.
Not a big
Oh.
fan, but I'll be checking out some classics. So
Okay.
let's see.
Okay. Ashwin says since Malayalam movies use less budget, a large amount of films managed to be made during the pandemic. Yeah, I mean that's one way of
Also,
putting it.
I was thinking of one more thing, that in Kerala the government helps a lot,
Mhm.
and it's like a streamlined process.
Yeah.
Whereas, if you're in Mumbai, if you're in film city, okay, you can, easily shoot something. But if you go anywhere else, right, in India, the authorities, you have to go to, the bribing you have to do, the policeman, to the neighborhood,
Yeah.
the MLAs, it just, that only takes away so much budget.
Yeah.
So that's what,
Okay.
that's also one more thing.
Uh, Manish, thank you guys. Hope to see your reviews. All the best. Thank you so much, Manish. Just last 5 minutes, I'll just take comments that came on the community post. One of the
Yeah,
comments
definitely.
he really wanted me to talk about. So he says, do we innovate in making the subtitles more impactful? Do we dub the audio of original cinema carefully, or do we focus on remakes to ensure movies of a particular industry are clearly showcased to a much wider audience? With translation tools, AI, and technology available, no reason why each movie should not be made available to watch all over the world. So this is, I think, a very good observation and comment. This came from George. So what are your thoughts on subtitles, and do you agree with him?
Yeah, I think subtitles do, sometimes ruin a film. It has happened to me, and I
Okay.
think one like advantage I have is I watch with other Malayalis. So
Mm.
if subtitles are wrong, they like tell me, and I think sometimes I've watched films on a like reputed site like movie, and like
Mm.
half of the film is without subtitles, like
Mm.
they are missing.
Yeah.
So because you're already watching it, so they were helping me out, and so it's very important. But still, if it's if it's good enough, also if a story is well told, it doesn't really take away anything.
Mm.
It's like you cannot just learn every language if you want to see a film.
Mm.
So it
Yeah.
is what it is. You cannot complain.
And with subtitles, another thing I felt was sometimes they translated literally into English, which is
Yeah,
not the intention of that dialogue. Like
yeah,
I've heard it in interviews as well from people down south that, like for example, there will be a pop culture reference which only people from that region can understand. So if you literally translate it into English, the meaning will completely change, and the audience which are depending on the subtitles, they will not be able to understand the tone behind it. So that way, I think people who do the subtitles, they also have to be aware of the fact that they also should definitely understand that region, and the jokes there, the politics there, and everything. So that is one. And then there was another comment by somebody who asked me, "Tell me one Malayalam film which disappointed you this year." Okay, that is a very difficult question, but I have a pick. And again, okay, people who blame me of talking too much about Fahad Fasil. It's a Fahad Fasil film only which disappointed me. It's Irul on Netflix.
okay,
I
yeah.
was not really impressed with that. What about you? If you had to pick one film that disappointed you?
Disappointing. I'm just going through my list only, just seeing which was it. Yeah, Irul. I would not say disappointing. It was just meh. Not like it was badly made or something. Just didn't have that impact, or
No, I mean
didn't
disappointing
deliver.
in the fact that whenever you watch a Fahad film, you have certain expectations. There is a
Yeah,
certain benchmark that he has set now. So when you watch Irul, you don't come out of that film with some sort of a uh, the film doesn't stay with you, and
yeah.
that is rare with Fahad films. So other than Irul, if you had to pick anything, is there anything which disappointed
There's
you?
nothing. There's literally nothing. Either I've not seen it because, like I have so many people, they watch the films and tell me, is it
Oh
worth
yeah,
watching or
Cold
not?
Case.
Oh yeah, okay. I take that back.
So see, people from Kerala itself are correcting us. Even they were disappointed with Cold Case, I guess. Um,
It's
do you
like
think?
this, right? That
Hmm.
the good ones are so big in our minds, we don't think about the ones that didn't work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you think Malayalam is tough? Since most non-Malayalis think so, but I think it's because of less exposure. And as guys who are exposed, what do you think? I mean, it's to each his own. For people who can relate to it, and who have, everyone has a different thought process when it comes to language. Some people are eager to learn new languages. Some people
Yeah,
learn it from watching a lot of films or listening to songs. Like I personally, when I was in Chennai for 6 years, so I stayed among Tamilians. So I heard that language so much. Like I used to play cricket every weekend with locals. So I
yeah,
somehow that subconsciously keeps getting ingrained in your back of the mind.
yeah.
So that's one way of looking at it. But I mean, for a North Indian, definitely South Indian languages are not as easy. I mean, I hope you get your answer. Okay, so I think that should be it for today. Thank you so much for gracing with your presence, and
No,
any
not at
parting
all.
thoughts you want to give here before we end this?
No, man, love this session. Keep doing. Looking forward to doing more collabs, and we are definitely doing one tomorrow. And
Yeah,
definitely,
sure.
man, I want to talk to you about music because I think I've said it so many times on my channel. I don't understand. Like, I don't understand music. Like, it's like alien to me.
Mm,
Even the music, I'm very picky in some sense. Very few songs I really like and I keep
mm,
listening, but I even started learning guitar. But like I remember the teacher teaching me like different strings, I'm like all sound the same to me. So yeah, so I definitely we need to do a session on music too. But it was a great chat, man. Thanks for having me and keep doing a great work.
No, I also loved it, and I'm sure that there will be a lot more collaborations. Even people would want us to have such conversations once in a while. I'm sure you guys enjoyed it as well. So, guys, if I've missed your comment, then I'm sorry, but so many comments kept coming again, which was very overwhelming for me. I've never done a live before like this, so I'm not as experienced, but with time I'll make sure I take most of the comments. And yeah, so that is it for tonight. Thank you for watching Cine-Mahaul podcast. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and press the bell icon. If you are an existing subscriber, then thank you so much for your love and support so far, and we will hopefully see you very soon. Thank you so much, guys. Good
Yeah.
night.
Bye.